Around this time last year, people were like, 2020's my year.
I literally looked
it's
back at
my
it.
year. And you know what? It probably still could have been your year. Mm-hmm.
I was just doing great. Like I was like, yeah, I'm finally promoted. I'm like able to help lead a team. Like I'm doing all these great things. Like this is a reality. Like people don't just live in drama and trauma. Some people are just broke and just trying to just figure it out. And it doesn't, come from any type of pain other than just I'm just broke. Or something like that, and it's just like.
Did you go to college?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have a degree.
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Low Up Podcast, to Make You Blow Up Podcast. My name is Lee, and today's very special guest is Paul Abraham. He is here to discuss mental health with us. Now, Paul is a director. He's also creative. He's done so many cool things, and I realized something here in a lot of ways where we're similar. So it's very good to have this kind of dialogue and to discuss something that I typically don't, or is even really discussed as men or even in the Black community. So we kind of just fuse these things together, as it is a very sticky topic. We also get into a couple of other topics like you clearly saw here. So this was kind of a fun one. Guys, this is the Low Up Podcast. Enjoy.
Trust me, I even went all the way to Dallas to try to prove something, but that's a whole nother story.
God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey man, it's real out here.
It's real, but it's also honestly that stuff was good because it was good for closure. Sometimes you have to take lessons out of the things that you don't understand.
Yeah.
So I took a lesson out of that. It felt like a failure. That's what the room was about. It was about failure, and it was like accepting failure more and being okay with failure, because the thing about failure is like we see it as an end all be all, like it's finite, but really failure is a lesson. Like failure shows you like the things you can improve on. Failure even shows you that sometimes your initial goal isn't even what you may intended on it being, but it still works for you, Like I always put it into perspective, like I take my senior project. We all had senior projects. It's like, what are you going to be doing in 10 years? And da-da-da-da. And my 10-year reunion came up in, 2018.
Oh, wow.
And I remember I was like, let me look at my senior project. And my senior project said, because I was feeling like a failure. Like I felt like, I haven't done anything with my life and everything like that. I looked at my senior project and it was like, be a traveling photographer.
Get out of here.
And,
wow.
like you may think of it in a more glamorous sense, like, in New York and doing all these crazy things. But I was like, I'm doing what I said I wanted to do. It may not be like I'm like some popular photographer or something like that, but I'm traveling and I'm being a photographer and getting paid for those things. And it's just like that held on my lifestyle for 4 years. And it's just like, you don't think about it at the time because you're like, oh, this isn't enough. I want more. I want more. Yeah, so.
It's that feeling of more, man. It's that feeling of more that makes you feel stuck, or sometimes makes you feel like a failure when you're really not. It's because like, hey, I want to be here, and whenever you're even achieving something, it's like, but I'm not achieving this grand thing.
This grand vision, which of course social media has a lot to do with, because we always, quote unquote, see someone doing better than us. But we're all putting on a show. Like, I mean, and it's like not even intentionally, but it's just like you don't post like when your tire goes out, or you don't post like when you tripped over a cord or something like that. You post when you do the great things, and you post your successes, and it's just like
that's true.
It's a balance because no one wants to, because there are those people who only post their negatives, you know, right? But no one ever posts. It's just like, hey, today I was basic.
So I just started getting on social media again, from taking maybe like a year off, and maybe a year and some months off social media, right? Fantastic time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Coronavirus, I was just in my own bubble having a great time, right? So I got back on social media, and I said, okay, here's what I want to do. I wanted to do something really specific. I wanted to provide some kind of value. That's when I started posting videos here and there. I said I wanted to post every day.
Okay.
Which, as like how you're saying, every day is not the day, the achievement day, the successful day, right?
Right.
Some days there are actually maybe even a streak of days. Let's say that.
That's true.
But then there's some days where it's just like, today ain't the day. today ain't the day. I don't want to do none of this. You know what I mean? But in the back of my mind, I was like, those might be the more important days because I think about like good leadership from like leaders. You have your Obamas, you have your Winston Churchills, you got your Martin Luther King, you got all these guys, right? And they're on 24/7.
That's true.
Michelle Obama talked about it in her Becoming, like on Netflix. She
Yes,
said,
did.
I have to be on 24/7.
Especially
I
when she was
never
the first lady.
get a break. Yeah. And I go like, dang. Some people are on 24/7. Some people who are very effective are on, the most effective people are on 24/7. It pains me to even want to even do something like every day, but I think it's worth showing that, hey, there's some good that could be done if you're working towards something every day and you're trying to be positive every day. If Michelle Obama can do it, then you know what? Then we all can do it.
Michelle Obama, like, that's a force. Like,
Yeah.
And I do agree with that, too, actually, because the thing is, I've actually, Ollie, like, polar opposite. I've been posting on social media less and more so, like, wanting to learn more just because I've seen, like, the effects of, like, sometimes, like, with social media, we get that power to, like, state our opinions on things and, like, in like the instant like feature of like just posting about it. And sometimes I've been wrong about things, and sometimes it's just like that gun ho-ness is just like like I spoke too soon. So I guess I kind of took a step back and was like, let me learn more about us as people, and like when I do have these conversations, go into it with a sense of like educating and like always like learning how we all operate as people, because I know I don't know everything, but I know we can only find understanding through wanting to learn, and so I've just been trying to just emphasize that more, and I do need to get more of a positive routine, just because I've been all like, my therapist is like, go into that, because that's how it helps me get through it. Like if I'm feeling sad or down, like sometimes I need to take a day and like just be away from people and allow myself to feel that, because I get over it a lot better than pretending that I'm okay and pretending that everything's fine.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of what's worked for me, because it's helped me like understand people a lot more. Like there'll be times where like I'm upset about something and it's just like, why am I feeling this way? And once you dig into it, you realize, like, especially with accountability for yourself and your actions, you realize, man, none of us know anything,
Facts.
And
Facts.
it's just like,
oh my God,
I have to accept that. Like, even when I'm in a situation where it's like I feel like I may be right, I'm like, I don't know if I'm right, because I don't know the whole side of the situation. Like,
right.
Even like a situation, let's take like roommates, for example, or something like that. You feel like it should be this way. They feel the other way. So it's just like, where does that come from? And it comes from history. It comes from the past. They may have lived a different way. You may have lived a different way.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel like trying to make someone believe your own thing, not on their own, I guess, I don't know. I've just been trying to get away from that. And it's just like, I'll allow you to think whatever you think. This is how I feel. And I feel like this is, how things should be. But I accept if you think differently, and it's just like, that's the really only way people learn than screaming and yelling. And it's just like, you need to do better. And it's just like, do we need to do better?
I think that's time, that's age, that's maturity, that's understanding, having some more awareness, knowing, especially when it comes to like your own personal mental health, knowing that, hey, I'm seeing this thing from, my perspective. Like I can only see things from Lee's perspective, which means that may give me at maximum one perspective. Yeah. If at minimum, one perspective. At maximum, if I'm being more empathetic, I can start seeing, things from your shoes if I try to. But at minimum, I can only see it from my own view, which means that there are probably more pieces to the puzzle that I just don't know. So I can give my opinion, but knowing that, hey, this may not be the most correct way. Yeah. And I think like in general terms, I like giving my opinion on stuff, but I don't like the meaning of, and I'm right.
Oh no, yeah, I just like that too because we were I was talking with a friend. We was funny. It was me, Alan, and another friend, and like the conversation of the trans community came up, and I'm always interested because I feel like I'm a good midway point through these conversations. Like growing up, all of my friends have been, of course, straight males and stuff like that. So I understand that perspective, but I also understand the other side, just because like I like to educate myself on things that I don't know about, even if it's like ingrained in my mind, like that doesn't make sense, to the reality I've been living.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just like I was telling them also, it's like, y'all, this conversation is actually really simple. When it comes to trans people, like just accept whoever comes your way as whatever they identify as. If I identify as a cinnamon roll, like who are you to tell me that I am not a cinnamon roll?
Your cinnamon roll.
You get what I'm saying? And like I guess that's how I kind of want people to see it. Like I try to make like media and content that educates us, especially us as the black community, on just like a lot of things that we've been, used to and accustomed to, like a certain way of being, and showing that like we are multifaceted in all these kind of ways. And it's just like these people can coexist, and it's just like it doesn't really matter. It's just just to say, oh, okay, this is what it is, then that's just what it is. Like, and that's the interaction. You get what I'm saying? Because it's just like it's not like you have to go home, live with them, do all those things.
Right.
It's just like, but just as humans,
I find it. I mean, that to just be common decency in. I mean, not even in a big way, just common decency. But I also understand, like, from your perspective, you may see things as more. There's more gray area than most, especially being an artist.
Yeah.
There's more alliance for more things that are more abstract.
Yeah.
For myself, the same. I'm not an artist per se, but I see things more abstract, a little more gray than some of my family members, some other people that I talk to. So when we're going into topics, I have to go like, okay, I might see this different.
Yeah.
I might get my perspective, may even be shot down, but here's what I think, it works for me, and works for other people in different communities as well. You know what I mean? It's common decency.
No, and that's literally just it. Just because it's a heavy conversation with anything that someone believes, because it's just like I could talk to a racist, right, and they may not be able to understand my perspective as a black person. Right. It doesn't discredit it and mean that it doesn't exist. It just means from their reality, their day to day, they've never come across like a black person, and I've discovered that a lot. Definitely when I went to Australia, just because a lot of people that would ask me like, oh, like, what was the racism and stuff like that. I was like, honestly, there wasn't any, just because for once in a country, I felt like I was just a person. I didn't feel like a black man, or I didn't feel like some type of representative of whoever I am. I just felt like another person. Like I would go to the store and they look at me like just like everybody else, which is a difference here in America, because we go into stores and it's like you have to worry about if someone's watching you, or you have to worry about if you're making someone uncomfortable.
Right.
And it just goes to show you how like life perspectives and the things that we like grow up on like establish who we are as people. And it's just like sometimes you have to recognize it, and depending on who you are, you can unlearn those things, or it's just like I just keep it simple. Like it's just like, okay, like you identify as a lizard, or you are this or you are that, and it's just like that's just what it is. Just because we constrain ourselves to like ideologies, and it doesn't mean that you have to go to the other, ideology in order to understand them. But it's just like you can still be exactly who you are, and have sympathy and be empathetic.
I believe that too. That's a perfect segue into our discussion today about mental health. I'm gonna start everything here. Hey guys, welcome to the Blow Up Podcast, Make You Blow Up Podcast. My name is Lee. Today's guest is Paul Abraham.
Yeah.
And he is with us. He is a creative. He's an artist. He is a director as well, among many other things. Welcome, Paul.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, man. So today we're talking about mental health.
Okay.
Which is just a tiny can of worms.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. when did you find the importance of mental health, or to be important?
You know, it's I guess two different times, I would say. Like, when my parents got divorced, my mom did, of course, put me in therapy at the time. I was like, what, 12, 13? So I didn't really recognize that that's what she was building it up to. And then, of course, another pivotal time was right before I turned 25. And I guess I was having a quarter life crisis. It was kind of like one of those things of like, who am I gonna be? Like, why am I not making the money I want to make? Why am I not, I don't have the family, the house, all those things that we're shown that we should have, like, right now. And I started going back to therapy. I actually saw the therapist I saw when I was a kid, and at that point, that's when she kind of pointed me like, "Oh, you're beyond me. Like, I can't handle the things that you're going through now. Like, I can handle your kid problems, but like now you're going through adult shit. I mean, oh, can I go on this? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we here now.
Okay. Going through adult stuff, and pretty much, I found a new therapist. Well, I had to find like a new therapist through like two therapists because I went to one because I was like, okay, I need a therapist that I can identify with, like particularly like a black man or a black woman. I did find a black woman, and she was cool. She was great, but I felt like the extensiveness of how we could relate was only like a certain threshold. So then she prescribed me to an Indian dude. And this Indian dude, actually, I was like, okay, he's not black. But I was like, I'll give it a shot. And it actually ended up being exactly what I needed. He's been my therapist for the last 2.5, 3 years now.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And found him through Talkspace. It's this app where it's you can do mental therapy via phone, virtual, all those good things. And I met this dude, and pretty much we started having sessions and stuff like that. And he really like helped me unlearn a lot of like traits that like were taught to me and stuff like that. Mostly, I guess, by being masculine or being, like the ideas of what a man is and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he told me, he was like, a man is essentially everything, because a man can understand and go into places that he may not be, but also can understand and respect it. And I was like, okay. And like when he taught me that was really what opened me up to like the mental health conversation of, as men, it's okay for us to be sensitive, and it's okay for us to, have, conversations and want to feel affection or even be, affectionate or whatever. And that was when I just found like these great friends and stuff like that. We're taking pictures, you're telling people like, I love yous and like all this kind of stuff. And that's when I started to feel a difference, because I was like, oh, I feel better. I feel better about, who I am and myself. And of course that may equate to like my love languages being words of affirmation and stuff like that. So that's kind of where everything started. And through that, I mean, it's been some ups and downs. I'm not perfect, and therapy is never like a thing of you go once or you go twice and it's like, cool, I'm a perfect human being now. It's just, that's kind of where it all started, like around 25. And ever since then, I've just been a strong advocate of like, we as black people, we gotta like get rid of some stuff, because we have internalized trauma. So.
Yeah, and therapy is not something that we do just on the regular anyway.
Right.
For the most part, I know I've been to therapy. I can count on my fingers, maybe this many times, maybe 10 times.
Okay.
Over the years, and it's been like different therapists because, for one reason or another, it'd be same thing with you. Started, when I was at school, there was a therapist I saw. We could relate up to a certain point. And she was a black woman, but we could only relate up to a certain point. So I said, I want to talk about more guy stuff.
Yeah.
So I got a guy therapist. We could only relate to a certain, level. So I wanted to talk to another therapist. So after a while, I just, I stopped going, and I started joining like men's groups. I used to meet like, weekly and everything like that. And I said, oh, okay, this makes a lot of sense to me. Because I found that taking action on my mental health made me feel more open, and all of a sudden there was a level of vibrancy that I had in my life at that point. When I put it on the back burner, and this is like, I think the first time I went to therapy was maybe when I was 24, 25, when I was just
See,
like,
it's about
yeah,
that age, yeah.
probably the same
Yeah,
thing
that
going on.
age.
What's going on? This
Mhm.
is not how I planned it. So, so around that time, that's when I first went, and when I started this men's group. Maybe I'm 28 at this point, and that's when I started to see like a vibrancy
Mhm.
shift inside of my life, because a lot of things I just wasn't talking about at all.
Mhm.
And what I find is that the things that we don't talk about end up just becoming stressors in
Yeah.
our life. There's no outlet to them.
Mhm.
Sometimes we just take it out and just think in ways that don't necessarily help us, and
Mhm.
self-destructive behaviors and activities. And
Drinking, drugs,
yeah,
all
yeah,
types of things, and
all
it's just
yeah. The list don't end. It's a laundry list of self-destructive behaviors
yeah.
and a fewer list of good behaviors.
Mhm.
Um, there was something I saw on. Well, let's stick to what we're doing now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's stick to what we're doing now. I was like, I don't want to complicate this talk on mental health too much, because it's such a complex
It
topic,
is.
that has so many different avenues. But I think if we stick to just talking about our personal experiences,
Mm.
we'll be just fine.
Okay. Yeah. Cause even now, like I'm still like with my friends. I feel like I'm always kind of a like that's I'm not definitely not a medical professional, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm like
Uh,
a junior stand-in
yeah.
like therapist just because
Mm-hmm.
I talk to my friends, especially like my black male friends, just about like expressing themselves more,
Yeah.
and honestly going into more of who you are
Mm.
versus like repressing those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you need to, oh, if you need to go, you can.
No, no.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Either like
Producer.
I
yeah,
was just too
yeah. Let's just okay.
Okay, no, that's cool. But yeah, just like about like just certain things that like they repress or certain things that they feel like they learning to emote more,
Yeah.
talk and have those
Mm.
conversations because that's mainly like with men like that's the biggest problem. It's just like they hate to talk or they hate to
Mm-hmm.
like converse about what they're feeling or
Yeah.
whatever they're going through
Mm-hmm.
because it's been internalized that doing that is a sign of weakness or a sign of like you're soft or something like
Yeah.
that. But here's the thing, like there's a balance with all of this stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
none of us are one way or the other. Like there's
Right.
like that's why there are charts because it's
Mm-hmm.
just like if even if they were doing like a thing of like hard or soft, like no one's just all the way a rock and all the way like a pillow. It's
Right.
just like you
Right.
find where you fit in the middle.
I think is there's just a good idea, especially guys, that I see in terms of, because there's a reason why I don't like to talk about mental health at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went on Instagram like a few days ago and I said, hey, I struggle with depression, anxiety, yada yada yada. I didn't even want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say nothing. I don't want to talk about nothing,
Mm-hmm.
because I think there is a certain utility with being more stoic
Mm.
in how you feel your feelings.
Okay.
You know, if you feel too much, then you are soft. You know what I mean?
That's true.
If if you feel just enough, like it's like a maybe people can handle like God feelings at 5% capacity. Maybe let's say even 10% if we being generous. You know what I mean?
That's true. I feel like it could be pushed up to
Maybe
25%,
25%.
but it's only like when people like start doing it more because you never have those examples of
Yeah.
like how to appropriately like communicate your feelings. So
Yeah.
it's just like
Mm-hmm.
the reason why most guys are afraid just because if you do talk to a woman or you do talk to someone who is not used to someone who is in tune, you are seen as like a certain kind of way. So
Right.
it's like if you express yourself, even if you're not soft or like
Mm-hmm.
unable to handle your feelings, it
Right.
comes off as like this like bottled up compression, and then boom, once you finally feel the safe space, you let out too
Much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
over emoting.
Oh man, I had to talk to some of my guy friends about, and it normally happens within a relationship,
Yeah.
because most guys feel super stoic, super
Yeah.
still. Nobody knows. They find someone that they could feel really safe with,
Mm-hmm.
per se, and then that tap just like you let the bottle off the cap.
Yeah,
and
it's been waiting for so long to finally like let this. Which is why I say like it's almost like a soda. Like you know how like when you like slowly like turn the cap, you get those hisses out of the soda. Like that's kind of what more men need to do in order to like get out the full. Dang, I missed the thought. To get out, to get out what they're trying to like, say.
Right. It could be maybe this much in terms of feelings, but when they talk, it's maybe too much to take in, maybe all at one time.
It is a lot. Cause I've seen it happen like where someone who doesn't express themselves at all, period, and then finally when they feel like expressing themselves, it's explosive, and it's just like it's too much for people because it's just like, and that's why I'm always like, well, if you let out more, on the regular day basis, then it wouldn't be like that because you've been able to express yourself and be heard. So it's like, while I do understand where the stoicism comes from, it's just like, trust me, because I have many I'd like thoughts on like all these things because it all comes down to like emoting is seen as feminine, and of course a lot of people don't like feminine qualities coming from a man, and it's just like we have to kind of get away from that because you have to like embrace some part of femininity within yourself in order to find that balance.
Yes, that's true, and that's a good place to take our first break. Okay, but we'll be right back. Let's see if we have some time for the random question, Bo.
Yes.
Go ahead and choose the random question for today.
Is that a lens?
Yep, sure is. Somebody's wearing some glasses.
Let's pick this one. All right, so this one says New Year plans. Well,
okay.
Oddly enough, we kind of talked about it. Definitely for the new year, I want to write more scripts. Definitely get in like a writer's room when I make this move out to Los Angeles, and just like I definitely want to be more active. Like I feel like quarantine slowed me down, but not really because I got into biking, which has been fun. Nice. Yeah, I got into biking because I was like, I need something like that's fun, to get me out the house and stuff like that. So biking has been great. Definitely gonna bike more plants. And also this new year, I'm gonna try to give up. I'm not gonna try. I am going to give up smoking weed.
Oh, wow, man! It's a lot of big changes with 2021, man.
I mean, I'll admit I'm a stoner, but that's like because it's a healthy vice. Like it doesn't really change anything for me. Like most people are like, oh, you were this, and I'm like, oh yeah. It's not like I'm like one of those people who like I need to smoke, but it's just like it's relaxing. It's a recreational kind of thing. Right. But I think I'm ready just to kind of just give that up and just focus soberly like on everything that I want to accomplish.
I totally understand that.
I had more energy when I was sober.
Same, likewise. It's the reason why I don't smoke anymore.
I don't blame you, man. Like, cause the thing is, like, it's been a slow process just because I've been seeing how like it affects people. Well, mostly with drinking. I've definitely given up drinking just because it's not fun. It don't taste good. I mean, it depends, but it's just I don't know.
It's just for me that I like my senses more. Like the reason I drink is just to be communal.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what I used to do too, and now that's what I'm trying to detach that from the smoking thing because it's always been rooted in like you were younger in college. It was just like like we're all with the homies, like we're all hanging out, and you kind of like equate that. It's kind of like Frank Ocean said, like it's a cheap vacation.
That's literally what I say whenever I go like, oh, this is like vacation, but I realize the recovery time for vacation is too much. Yeah, and I have too much stuff to do. To be worrying about.
Yeah, I get a lot more done when I'm just not doing it anymore. But
agreed.
I just appreciate just the growth. Like, cause growth is always like just a learning process. Growth just doesn't happen and then you're grown. It's just like you're always growing. So
that's it. I mean, but you have to be really active about or really conscious about how you want to do it.
Yeah.
You want to.
Oh yeah,
Get another one?
I'll do another one. Yeah, let's
Got some
see.
time for another one.
Let's see what else is going on here in this basket. Let's see. Let us see. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's a good one. Best thing you've done all year.
Oh.
In 2020.
2020.
In 2020.
Wow.
So when you say like best thing, like is it like the best thing like I've kind of like given out, or like the best thing like I've personally done?
I don't know. How do you want to answer that one?
That's a hard one. I guess it's two things because I did finish like my first like feature documentary this year. So like I shot a whole like documentary feature for an artist. I finished it, even though it got shelved because she didn't want to put it out anymore. But I did feel proud of the fact that I was able to complete something, you know, that's an hour and 30 minutes and it's a full film.
Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah. So I have it. It's just I can't post it, but I can always like send it to people and show people. But it was really good. It was a documentary I created called "Betting on My Wishes," and it taught me a lot this year because the main phrase of the film was like "Do it afraid." Like whatever it is that you want to do, like get out there and just do it afraid. Like if it's a new job, if it's a new opportunity, a new person, do it afraid. Like just like if you're scared, just do it anyway. Because the only other result is either a yes or no. We stop ourselves so much from opportunities that we can obtain just because we don't want to hear what's on the other side. But it's just like sometimes you need that because it's better closure than wondering if what would have happened if you did it. So I definitely say like that's the best thing I've done all year. I'm really proud of it. I watch it all the time. I was like, man, I can't show anybody this, but you know, it's like,
but you know you fire though.
I know I'm fired because I can show you like the trailer and everything. It's like it's dope. Like I was just I was hurt when she was just like, I don't really want to put it out because I just don't like the way I personally look, and it's all these things just human like.
She ain't gonna do that afraid either.
Right, which is funny to me. You're like, I know that's what I said, but I was just like, I have to respect how people feel about themselves, even if I feel completely different. You know, because I'm not living through their eyes.
Of course,
or how they see themselves.
What was that second thing?
Second thing would definitely probably be the best thing that I've done all year. The second thing would definitely be just being with myself and learning to love myself or falling in love with yourself. I feel like, you know, you always love yourself, but I feel like this year I kind of like fell in love with myself. I like spending time with myself more now versus than before I used to always like, I need to hang out with somebody. I can't just, what am I supposed to do? Sit up in this room and just be here? But now I enjoy that more because I was like, oh, I get to watch what I want to watch. And I get to like not compromise, those kind of things. And it's just like that's kind of something I've enjoyed more. Just getting out there, technically not getting out there, but just I don't know. I just enjoy just being with myself, doing fun things with myself alone, and it's been just a great experience. So
yeah, that's interesting. I think a lot of people had some alone time, and
just a little bit,
but not everybody benefited from it. But for you to actually dig down and say like, yeah, I'm gonna have a good time.
I really did. Like I played games that I didn't play. Like I had been playing video games for a long time. Finally beat Kingdom Hearts 3. Like you know it's garbage, but you know it's fine.
Okay. I never played it. I always wanted to. So
Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2?
3.
Oh, 3.
Yeah, so it's kind of good to know it's trash.
The story is trash, but the gameplay is fun. How
okay.
About that? I'm about to say like fighting was fun until it was over. And then I was like, okay, this sucks. Well, it's fine. I played through it. I finally closed that chapter of my life because, you know, I was a huge Kingdom Hearts fan.
Of course, we waited so long for it to come out. Too long.
Like, even my passwords are still, like, Kingdom Hearts related. And I was
oh, my God.
Because they've always just been there from high school and stuff like that. So it's just like, okay, I can finally let this go.
You can close this book.
They closed the book, all right. And I was like, you know what? I get it. I'm fine with this result because I can move on.
It looked beautiful.
It is, but it sucks. Like the story and everything like that. It definitely is.
Well, I think this is a good time to kind of just wrap up everything that we went over. I think the last thing that you were saying when do it afraid.
Yeah.
I find that to be just a great, for me, testament to like mental health and actually improving your mental health.
Yes.
Whenever you're trying to improve it, first step is actually to have an action, like anything that you could do that's actionable. Like for you was actually taking a step to go to therapy or finding a new therapist. I had to find several different new therapists and then take action that I got from my therapist to use in my actual life as well, and a lot of the action that we take definitely is not something that we do very bravely or super confidently, but we got to do it anyway.
Yeah, we do. It sucks, man, because I still get afraid of like stuff. I'm still technically afraid now. Like a lot of my friends was like, "Aren't you excited about the move?" I was like, I mean, yeah, but I was like, I don't really have a plan, like, but it's like I'm okay with that at this point. So I was like, maybe me not having a plan is kind of like me just figuring it out as the way I go. Like I'm so used to planning and doing everything, like making sure everything's correct. And I was like, this time around, I was like, let me just do and just live in the moment and see how it goes. And it's just like that's what I expect to happen with this this move in the middle of a panorama.
Yeah.
Or a Panasonic. Or a Panera Bread.
Panera Bread.
Yeah, I call it a Panera Bread personally. But, just in the midst of all of this, just enjoy it because, people thought we were going to die. Like,
yeah.
People thought,
Yo, the streets was looking like 28 days later. They were looking like, what was that movie, Will Smith?
Oh, I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
It's very true. Like, I remember when I finally, I knew it was, like, serious. Like, I had to drive one of the production trucks from here in Atlanta all the way back to LA. So I drove the truck back to LA and I had to catch a flight back home. When I got to the airport, there was nobody there. It was the creepiest thing I'd ever seen. It was terrifying. It smelled like Lysol and just emptiness. And it was terrifying because I was just like, I've never seen LAX look like this.
Yeah.
Ever. It's always busy. And it's just like, I literally just walked up to the counter. I was walking to the gate. There was nobody around. Everything's just shut down. It literally looked like some end of the world dystopian type stuff. And I was just like, that's when I stayed in the house. I was like, I'm not going anywhere. When I got back home, I was like, I'm literally staying in the house. Like, this is serious. This is real.
That's wild. We really shut the year down.
Like 2020. Like 2020. People thought this was gonna be the perfect vision, the perfect.
Around this time last year, people were like, 2020's my year.
I literally looked back at it.
It's my year. And you know what? It probably still could have been your year.
It was supposed to be. I got promoted. Like, I was an assistant director. I was just doing great. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm finally promoted. I'm, like, able to help lead a team. Like, I'm doing all these great things. And then next thing you know, you're just doing what you can to make it. Like, it was wild.
Wow. I think this is a good time. Hey, Paul, where can the people find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. That's the main place I reside. Paul Allen Abraham. That's my full name. You can also find me on Twitter, Paul Abraham, but it's spelled differently. It's spelled country, P-O-W-L, Abraham, on Twitter. And, of course, you can find me on Facebook. I'm friends with Lee here, so you can always add me. We can have a conversation. If you're ever looking for ideas, for resources, for, like, therapy, or even just want to chat, hit me up. I'm always down.
Guys, you heard it here first, and you can find us on YouTube, Lee Luke. You can find the Low Up Podcast wherever you go. My name is Lee again, and it's the Low Up Podcast. We out.